All right, guys, I'm going to talk about something that's pretty much close to the heart. I know a lot of people, who are over 40, over 50, that's trying to do fitness or get back into fitness to get healthy, whether it's eating right or exercising. Yeah, this is a tough one. That's starting over. One of the things that starting over is so difficult in doing is the fact that there are new things that are coming up. Maybe your life has changed. A few situations has happened that kind of changed your way of thinking, or just changed the way your lifestyle is. Whether you lost your job, or you got a better job, or you got richer, or you got more more better at certain things that you never thought you could be better at. And I was pretty much thinking about those types of things as I was getting older. Once I hit 40, one of the things that I started to notice was I had to be more consistent in life. Comment down below if you are agreeing with this here. This is really dear and near to my heart because I know one of the most difficult things to do, as we get older is to start over. Now, it's not such a bad thing, guys. Starting over sometimes helps our mind and helps us get an understanding of the things that we got to do. Some of us, it puts us closer to our purpose in life and the things that we got to do, that we maybe ignored when we was in our 20s and 30s, and we decided to go a different route because we thought that was better, maybe lucratively, or just maybe a band-aid of satisfaction. But the one thing that I had to realize is starting over was not so difficult. I just had to retrain my mind on certain things that I was thinking about in the past that I've now understand more better in the future. So if you're over 40 or over 50 and you're looking to like start your fitness journey, and you're having a hard time struggling and you're like, man, I got to start over. Even especially if you're a former athlete like me, having a hard time starting over. And sometimes you can start over 4, 5, 6, 7 different times over the span of a few years, because you're learning something new. That's why you're seeing, this society change. You're seeing different things that are maybe not available to you anymore, or is not, how do I put it? That's maybe not, you're not used to doing anymore. Because one thing that I've learned over the years was that when I was in my 20s and 30s, there was just certain things we just did. And, you did it, as things progressed, technology got better and stuff, it was real slow. Now we're living in the times where things are changing very quickly. There's more information out now, and once you thought one thing in your 20s and 30s, now in your 40s or 50s, and you're like, whoa, wait a minute, what's going on? And you feel like you have to change. Well, not in every shade of your life you have to change. There may be some adjustments you might have to do, but changing is not difficult, guys. So one of the things that I had to understand, and this is based off of my experience, guys, I'm not trying to, tell you what to do, but one of the things that I've learned, turning 40, but also getting into my 50s, was that the changing of my mind, I had to reshape and reform. And I know we have goals in life, and there were things that I really wanted to do. And I got there, and I was about to make a drastic change in my life. And then, in 2020, we all know what happened during that time, that came about. And it totally reshaped my whole way of thinking. It was crazy. And whereas some people thrived during that time, others were not thriving. Others had to like revamp their entire life, over certain things. And that was me. I was one of those people. And it didn't take long. Well, and I'm not saying it didn't take long because I'm still in the midst of it. But for some it didn't take long, and for others it's taking a while, because every time you learn something new and you start trying certain things, and then here comes something else, here comes something else, and here comes something else. And one thing I learned is I had to stick to what I was doing. So during the early 2020s, I was dealing with fitness, working out and doing my thing, and then the COVID thing happened, and I was also a travel agent as well, booking trips and stuff and getting ready to travel and do a lot of things for myself. And COVID hit, and it drastically changed the way I was thinking. It drastically changed the way I was going about life. And I had to really reset and readjust everything that I thought I was going to do to now what I am doing now. When it comes to my fitness business, I am a personal trainer. Also, I'm an online coach, guys. If you ever need, to get some workout plans and stuff like that, just hit me up down below. Just hit fitness, or just hit me up and let me know what's going on with that. But back to what I was saying, I had to change my whole fitness perspective on things, whether it's health and eating, particular foods now, because you're getting older, you can't eat the same things as much anymore. You can't do that anymore. You know, I had to wean myself off of certain things that I had bad habits in doing. I had to change the way I was even exercising. I wasn't, I was pounding the weights and I was doing my thing because I was a lot younger. So I was doing those things and I had to change everything. Everything changed from weights to body weight. And it was all of those things were resets for me. And I didn't truly understand like how like I felt like I was stuck and like how am I going to get this thing moving and going, and then online fitness came for me, and that actually helped me. I have clients and things of that nature, and now it's more like, okay, how do I reach out to more people? How do I get to speak to more people? And that's when making this YouTube page, basically, that I have other workouts and stuff, and I'm just changing it over. And that's what it is. Guys, this is a part of the evolving in life. You're not going to stay, you know, even keeled in this life in terms of thinking about what you want to do. Sometimes you're going to go up and down, up and down, up and down. Some things you're going to be like doing, you're like, oh, wait a minute, I need to do this. And oh, wait, I got to do that. But at the end of the day, if you stay consistent on what you're doing, all of these things that does this is going to eventually do this. And that's what happens. So that's where I'm at right now in life. And that's why I say this video is more near and dear to my heart, because I want to show you guys that starting over is not a bad thing. You might have to start over a lot more, even in your 40s and 50s, because you're still figuring it out. They call it midlife crisis, and maybe that could be for some people, but for others, it's more of like, I have to start to do something different. I think when you reach 50, I think you're going to feel that even more. And if you have reached 50, trust me, I know you can agree, reach 50, you're like, yeah, I need to do something different. I'm tired of working that job for 25, 30 years. We kind of already know what the game plan is with that these days. Most people don't even stay on their jobs for more than 5 years anymore. So you're lucky to even have a job for 25 to 30 years. So now you got to pivot, and that's what it was for me. I had to pivot, man. And sometimes I pivot into things that I was learning, but I wasn't very good at. And fitness always came back. It was the one thing that I always knew a lot about, I can always talk about, and I have a lot of knowledge about. And that was one of the things that helped me keep the flow in terms of my health. Now, yeah, did I have times where I didn't work out for a few months? And yeah, man, I'm human. Like, I'm not this perfect guy. And I know a lot of people look at trainers and people who do fitness and stuff. I know you see the great bodies and stuff online and all that. Yo, guys, we go through the same things too. There's times where we go months, maybe sometimes a year without working out. But the one thing we always know is our knowledge is what always kept us moving forward. But sometimes the knowledge that we have changes, within the society, whether I was going out and training people at their places, to now doing it online. And that was an advantage for me. So now I do fitness online now, where I can sit at home. I still travel from time to time to go see a client, but I'm moving into a different type of sector of fitness now. And thanks to technology, I'm able to do that, where I can save time and I can save car fare. If you're living in New York City, man, it's very expensive to get around. But I had to pivot, and can I still go out there and do those things? Yeah, I can. But I need to be more efficient, listen, if you're over 40, over 50, you heard the terms work hard, right? Well, if you've noticed, like, working hard doesn't always suffice. It's actually working smarter and being more efficient. And technology has given us the opportunity to be efficient. So as me talking to you all over the world, all over this country, now I can communicate with you and I can get these things out that I've always kept in, that I was like, I can only do it only in my proximity. And that was what changed. I don't have to no longer be in my proximity. or just be in where I live. I can now span out. So starting over may not be a bad thing, guys. You know, matter of fact, I don't even think it is a bad thing. Starting over is really the best thing you could ever do for yourself, because now you get a chance to understand and implement new things that you've learned, and then even some of the old things that you never tried or you wasn't really good at, or you can bring them together, and now you have this like nice, cool set out plan for yourself, and then you can move forward and, you know, maybe X out a few things here and there, but you're always going forward. So starting over, guys, I hope I'm making sense. You know, starting over is not bad. You just got to do it sometimes because it refreshes your brain, and you get a chance to take all the things that you've learned in the past and bring it to the forefront. You get to take all the things that you're learning right now and put it in the forefront, and you see what works. So when it comes to fitness, being over 40 and over 50, when you want to start over in your fitness, make sure that you have all the ideas and things you want to do as far as your goals. But seek out for people like me and other people who are online who are telling you like, hey, yeah, if you're over 40, over 50, you don't have to go to the gym and pound metal weights. You know what I'm saying? Don't take it for granted, guys. When you get older, your body gets weaker. Can you maintain strength? Can you maintain muscle mass? Yes, but it doesn't require using actual weights. You can use your body weight. Being more calisthenically formed is way better than being just muscle bound. All right. So I know people fall in love with the physique and the body, but don't get it twisted. A lot of these people who are out here are taking protein powders and creatines and all the stuff that later on down the road is going to be bad for their kidneys. So be careful. Be careful of taking these things, and they're selling it online now, and they're making money, and it's yeah, we doing it. Listen, eat your natural foods, man. All right. That stuff still exists, and it'll always be here. Eat your natural fruits and vegetables, man. You know, find out the little quirks and things that you need to do to bring energy into your body, you know, to prevent diseases or prevent certain things that may deter you or set you back as you get into your 40s and 50s. So guys, stop looking at the 25 to 35-year-old people who have these physiques and stuff. Yeah, they're great to look at, but you're not 25 to 30. You are 40 or 50 or even older. So you have to start over. You have to switch up a few things. You have to adjust, okay? Because your brain is adjusting, your body, your muscles, your tendons, your tissues, all of that is adjusting at one point. And that's why they call it a midlife crisis, because everything changes. You know, like you go to the bathroom, that changes, right? You're running down, you know, you're trying to race, you know, you're running down the street, you know, that changes, you know, the way you run, everything changes. So that's why they're calling it a midlife crisis when you're 40 or 50 years old. Guys, just understand. It's okay to change because your body's going to change anyway. Okay. Just stick with it. Believe in yourself. Believe in what you got to do. Believe in what you got going and stay consistent. You're going to mess up every now and then because it's new. All right. So just make sure that you're moving forward. Right. And yeah, you'll be a lot more wiser in your 40s and 50s where you're going to shift this away and shift this away and shift. It's just certain friends you don't even hang out with anymore. Right? See how all of this stuff changes. So I don't want to get off topic. I just want to make sure you understand if you're over 40 or 50 and you're looking to start your fitness journey, just remember, it's okay to start over. Okay. If you worked out previously, had a history of working out, it's okay to start over. It's okay to shift. It's okay to just do something different. Because if you want something different, you got to do something different. Okay. And that's why when we get older, embrace it, accept it. I ain't gonna front. When I turned 50, man, I was thinking about a lot of nostalgia stuff. I kid you not. And one of the things I had to understand was that I'm spending too much time in the past. I gotta look forward, okay? If you're driving, you can't drive like this, right? Because what's gonna happen? You're gonna end up swerving. You might end up crashing. And that's where we're getting a lot of this stuff going on when you're over 40 or 50. We're crashing out because we got our head turned this way. No, guys. Keep your head forward. Every now and then you look back, right? But keep staying forward. And that was one of the things I had to teach myself now that I'm 50 and over. I had to teach myself this, and it's not easy, but it's doable. Okay, guys? So this, once again, is something near and dear to my heart. If you found value in this video, definitely leave a comment below. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Later.